As you embark on this journey to the new, everything is changing right before you. Where the human race is going as a collective, you are going to see many things take place. It's part of the narrative and part of the directive. Stay footloose and fancy free. This is the art of belief. The childlike energy that you are perceiving, the mysticism, the magic, the blessings, the believing, has always been yours for the taking. But because of the mass amounts of slavery and torture and greed, you were only able to believe in poverty. As you see, things are shifting and rapidly changing. You are becoming more osmosis and the one to be. The relationship between you and your divine creator is intangible and intertwining and has never been forgotten in nature. You are here to gather as a one united to rectify what has been done to your mother with torture, slavery, greed from day one. There's already a place for Mother Earth in the fifth density, and that time has already begun. Many shifts upon the collective have been sung. It's time to take back your power once and for all, and for the one. You are all a divine expression of the divine creator herself, coming here in mysticism and majesty to not be put on a shelf. The knowledge, the wisdom, the teachings that you gain here are brought back to the divine creator to gain as knowledge, wisdom, and an intertwining relationship in nature. You are now seeing how things have always and should have always been. The shifts and the portals of the new is here for you. Your belief and what you perceive to be is only a falsified human reality. The things that are shifting and the things that are changing are tangible, meaningful, authentic, empowering, and delightful. These are the blessings that you have all been foretold. Time is relative in nature, and you're watching it unfold. It's part of the dynamic in which you told. The unconscious behavior is now turning to a conscious behavior. All the distractions around you are in part by nature. They're here to entangle you and to confuse you. Yes, you're going to see the truths before you, but your focus should truly be on the new you, on the precipice of the birth of this new full moon. It's the birth of the new. There's much energy available to you and for the taking. All masks are being revoked and revealed, even though it's painstaking. The emotional turbulence is all you need to remove, and know that it is part of what will no longer be true, because the you that you've always been is now coming to the surface to shed light, to become one in nature and in service. you. Cool. All right, that was absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and pull a little bit on this. And this morning they asked me to use. Thank you. They. Thank you. It's beautiful when they love to honor me as much as I honor them, and having that tangible relationship. It's just absolutely beautiful when I allow them to come in and take over, and it's just that understanding and intertwinement of connectedness. So they had me pull the Isis deck, and this is in reference to Isis, the majestic mother, the divine Sophia, and Mary Magdalene. Okay, and so if you guys have not read The Return of the Divine Sophia, I suggest you get it. It's going to unlock a lot of different things for you. It's been around for a long time, but beautiful. This is beautiful, man. The Eye of Horus just came out. So, awakening of the divine perception and the removal of self-doubt and scarcity. The divine oneness in nature is what it truly is ought to be. If you knew how much you were loved, you would do nothing but cry for joy and above, is what was just said. Beautiful. The dark healing chamber and the dark arts is what they're referring to with this piece of black obsidian. So there is huge, thank you for coming in. There is huge turmoil and rhetoric that a lot of you are processing through these shifts and through these changes. And what this is like, let's say I had somebody explain this to me yesterday, because truly I didn't understand. And there are some human concepts that I truly do not understand. And I asked this colleague of mine, I said, okay, well, what do you mean by, like, you process that? Like, how does it happen for you? And I was like, because, like, she's like, well, when I have a memory or something that comes up, right, and there's a feeling about that memory, that triggers me to tell me that I haven't processed through all of it, right, because I have a feeling about it. And I was like, so you mean, like, if I have a memory come up and I can just see it for what it is and really have no feeling about it whatsoever? She's like, yeah, that just means that you acknowledge it for its just, and there's no more work to do. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought, but I just needed to understand how you are seeing that in context, because there is a lot that I don't relate to right now that's going on. And no disrespect, I've been through that process. And so there is a lot of turmoil and there is a lot of darkness that's coming up to the surface from the subconscious layer. Like, you guys are healing your subconscious to the depths of the level where you have nothing but laughter inside of you, because when the truth is real, it's hilarious. And humans and human rhetoric and human behaviors are funny when you totally are able to see through them objectively and see how much power you give away to a feeling that isn't even in your present moment any longer. That is hard for me to consciously understand. But I don't not empathize with where a lot of the collective is. So there's a big split right now with a lot of people that are going through that beginning of the dark night, and a lot of these memories coming up inside of them, or childhood memories coming up inside of them, or things that people forgot, about things that happened to them, are coming up, and they're having to process this on the surface. And so, because there's a feeling that's left there, I'm like, okay, now when you dive into that and there's a feeling that's there, like, how long do you stay in that? And she's like, well, really, I just acknowledge that piece is there, and I just, like, allow it to come to the surface. And I'm like, okay, well, what if you don't cry? And she's like, well, I don't cry. And I'm like, but, like, so you just bringing it to the surface then is the consciousness of that behavior, and that makes it relative. And so, like, what do you do with it to make sure that you get rid of that piece then, because so it doesn't come up again? That's where I went, right? Because if this keeps coming up, then that means that you haven't gotten to the bottom layer. So what they are showing to me in relation to this temple of black obsidian here is that now you are in the deepest layers of the subconscious. Okay, and so the deeper layers of your subconscious are coming up. It's things that you may not have realized that you even went through or remembered or stuff like this. And a lot of this could be what people are perceiving as picking up old soul fragments of themselves and trauma healing. Because I remember about 4 years ago, I was delivering food and they made me go to the house in which I grew up in the last day that I saw my grandfather. And I was like, oh, you guys are making me pick up fucking pieces of myself that, I need to go back and collect in some form or rhetoric. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, this makes complete sense. So I see a lot of people in the collective going through this right now. This is what's allowing you to awaken to the deeper perception here of the divine perception in which is true. This is helping you become a more studious, more empowered, more authentic you, is what they're saying. By the removal of this process. This is really, really cool. This is really big. So this is where some of the collective is right now. And a lot of you have processed through this where you have a deeper reckoning of perception, right? And the more you are aware and consciously aware of self, the more you understand, and overstand why you were dealt the things you were dealt and what's going on around you outside of you, right? They keep on showing me like symbolization of honor right now. So like this is a symbolization, my chief is saying, of honor when you go through these types of healings and these types of news, right? This is all putting you, when you gain a new perception, you gain a new reality. It's true. So a part of you going through all this liberation within your mind and Solomon's Tower and all these, oh my gosh, and oh, this still needs a little bit of work and so on and so forth, you're realizing how much you self-sacrificed you when you didn't have to these feelings, to these emotions, to these things that really weren't even a part of you. They were just a part of your experience teaching you where you came from and what you've always been. So this is a part of that receiving of the blessing of sitting in gratitude, going back to where it all began. All right? So the awakening of the divine perception is huge right now. And a split in the collective. So remember when we were just, this is cute. They threw the achievement card to get me back on track. That was adorable. Thank you guys. But they, like I said, they are saying high honor, right? And this is where it's a huge achievement for the collective individually on a personable level to heal the deeper layers of their subconscious, because then it changes their perception, which changes their reality, which changes the reality in unison. So this is huge because this is a huge achievement, not only individual here, but this is the number 10, which is completion. This is for the collective consciousness no longer being a part of the collective unconscious. And so this is absolutely beautiful. All right. And so this took a lot of negotiation within you and through you, is what they're saying. Right now. Endurance, you're in for the long haul, okay? Like, I don't know how else to beautifully say this to you other than you chose and you signed up to allow the collective consciousness and the creator to work through you. So allow these things to naturally come out in you. Everybody wants to know about their gifts and abilities and how they fine-tune them and how they become more of a medium and how they step into more of their psychic abilities and fine-tune these processes. And you know what? That's what we do. We teach you how to do that. But it comes through the art of practice and discipline and discernment. And so it's not a quick thing that you're going to get. So this is why they threw the endurance card, because we're on the precipice of closing one book and opening the new this week with this pink moon and this shift, the 22nd through the 24th, that they've been showing me. So it's it's the strength card. It's the knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, knowing when to act, and knowing when to retract is what they're telling me here. This is a level of achievement, of discernment, because only through your sacred awareness does this engagement, thank you, come out. These last two, inheritance and adaptability, man. So these are all part of your spiritual inheritances that have always been you, that are coming up. And I don't even know why they're saying bipartisan right now. I have no idea what even that word means. So you guys can take that metaphor back and figure it out for yourselves. But remaining adaptable right now is the most important thing that you can do, because when you remain in fluid flow, things actually go in your favor and in your flavor, is what they just said. So when you stay in fluid flow, everything goes and flows your way. Even when it seems like you're losing, you're actually winning, and things are becoming more possible each and every day for you to open the door for something anew to be bestowed upon you. You have to take the action and the risk to do something new to reach your most cherished virtues, is what was just said. This is the inheritance, the spiritual inheritance that's coming through, right? And so the adaptability is the adaptability of you transcending with your ego, right? So the adaptability is, okay, you fighting yourself of not doing something, but you feeling like you have to do it, and you used to think your way out of this shit. And now you're not thinking, you're feeling, right? So instead of thinking your way out of it, you're feeling your way into it. Okay? And this is the transcendence of your ego, where you're no longer allowing your ego to define your rhetoric. You become friends with it. You become one with it. And this is why the Two of Cups keeps coming up, and the Lover's card keeps coming up, and multiple of readings, because this is you transcending with your higher self in order to be more connected to the real, empowered, authentic you, which is you being a sliver of the divine feminine creator, which is coming out in you, which you are a divine expression of, each and every one of you. This is how you also remain adaptable and remain true to the energy that's being bestowed upon you. You know when to give your energy and where to interject. You also know when to go and when to flee, but you have the understanding of what's coming next. Thank you. And this is it, man. What did I just say, man? About the merger of the higher self. You can't make this shit up. The wings of Isis again. Uniting with the angelic self is exactly what this says. Uniting with the angelic self. This is you that you have always put up on a shelf. The Creator never walked away from you. You walked away from the Creator in divine favor, because it was divine order to get you to remember who you are, because of the rhetoric that was trapped in your DNA by far. If you could conquer your mind, you could conquer your life. And remember, words were used as frequency to leave your voice unheard, which took your power away from you. Because the words is what molded you and what shaped you, not the feelings. You forgot that when you were born here in this plane, the only thing you knew were your feelings. That's it. That's all you knew. As a child, as a baby, was what you were feeling. It wasn't anything about thinking. The very first ability you had was feeling. And that connection was lost over time because of words and because of things said to you and because of adaptations that were not true, which is fear, false evolution appearing real. They want me to read this, of course, once again, and so I know that there is many of you that has heard this time and time again, but every time we go through an ascension process or a shift of something that is parallel and new, they ask me to read these things to you, and I must do exactly what I am asked to do, because I am here to be of service on multiple levels and multiple layers and multiple dimensions. So give me one moment. Give me 1 second to jump into this, and I will dive into those of you that have donated for a reading today here on live. Give me one moment as I step into this here. And there's two, of course, that they would like for me to read. And I know that you guys have heard these over and over again. But each and every time you hear them, it activates something new inside of you, is what is said, because these are transmissions in which I was given a year ahead of time, like always. So, all right. So, they want me to read you the Sands of Time, which I actually got um 2 days after the transmission of the light that came through. So they named this one the Sands of Time back in July 3rd of 2023. You were born to create, you were born to have fun. You were born from the light, that's where it all begun. The sands of time have clogged your mind. Frequency turned to words, your voice was left unheard. You forgot all that you learned when you emerged. Time and space is what took place. You were never meant to be erased in this densely lit place. You came to your senses with divine comprehension. You reinforced your prism. Clearing out the masses, you finally chose to take off your rose-colored glasses. Your mind raced, and your heart was still, not knowing what would take place. Red pill, blue pill, no choice at all, waiting for time and space to fall, wondering if and when you would hear the call. Come the one and come the all, as your mother's voice stood tall. You knew the answer and you heard her call. The spark, the fire, or the flame. Call it what you want here, your words are all the same. The masters and spirits already know your name. It's an imprint through all time and space. Do you even know from which dimension you came? How come you don't know or remember your truest of name? The one that created and gave you from the very start, when it birthed you in all of its sight, in all of its light. And that was from the birther of light. And this one is from the birther of light as well, and it is called the light. And this is how this beautiful being and source loves to refer itself to me, is as the birther of light. So here we go. Time stood still the day you were born. You came out perfect. You were never meant to be torn. You were made to believe what your human eyes could perceive. Don't you see the light I gave you is inside of me? Make no mistake, oh my, how you've grown. It shows in your smile a newfound home. The tides have turned. Oh, what a mess. What did you think? I was not in distress? Did you think I would forget? My children come from wide and far. A unitings of their tongues will soon roar. The trumpets will sound and be silenced no more. In perfect peace and harmony. No longer can you claim my land, you see. It was never yours to begin with. It's what you made it out to be. Oh, how you have disrespected the one you call God, who is truest in nature. I sent my son in physical form to represent me, the eternal flame, the divine creator. He had natural abilities to be the protector and fulfill the divine prophecy to complete the sectors of sacred geometry. He did exactly what I asked of thee, but you personified him and persecuted him to be, turned him into a sacrifice because you were scared of thee. But this time I made the order taller that he comes back as she. All in divine order, you'll see. A gift for my children. A peaceful presence will return. Justice for all was my bond and my word. The Creator has watched all you have done. What did you think you would get away with your fun? Torture, slavery, and greed from day one. Don't you worry, your judgment day will come. You have taken way more than what you need. This will no longer be a place of greed, no matter what race, lineage, or creed. My children have come to unite, you see. Under my grace you took from every age, race, and gender. People suffering while you danced in a splendor. Not thinking that my children of the light would catch on to your demise. Divide and conquer was your prize. The war you made was on their minds, only to trap their souls as your prize. There is one you could not trick, the Creator, the all, the infinity. Can't you see? The tables have turned, you better run quickly. You made my children forget the prophecy. Through your words you used as your frequency, your lies and your unspoken truths you hid from thee. But you forget the Creator can see every nook, every cranny, and every cell to be. For it wrote the divine prophecy of eternity. My children have come to unite, you see, from near and far. My wife put out a grand call for a great awakening. Come the one and come the all. She spoke. My heart beats that grounds their feet, my lands, my rivers, my plants and trees. What a sweet treat. But they have forgotten what connects them all to you and me. A dream, something that won't come true. Far-fetched, they think, but that's the key. Divine intervention, no one can see. But the truest of eyes and the hearts that beat. We returned the call, we knew the answer. The 144 was the answer. From every lineage, race, dimension, and creed, for they remember the code to be. As they have walked this path since the beginning of humanity, I hid them this time, near and far. For every 1 million, there's only 3. I was way smarter than you could believe. We also gathered those that carry the rose and the feather to be. They come from faraway places, from many backgrounds, colors, and races, not from these familiar places. They are here to spark the message, to create a higher expansion. And this is what you call rapid ascension. And this was from the light. So as you go through these shifts and you go through these timelines and you go through these changes and these news, remember where you started was the 4th door in your heart and what you have always known to be true, that there is nothing greater than the power of love inside of you and the power of an unwavering, unconditional mother's love in divine nature is how we're going to make through. Trust and believe. You're all part of the divine prophecy. We are the ending and we are the beginning of the new. It's time we merge for the 7th fire prophecy, in which will be part of the new that we're moving into. The new shifts in reality, you all can feel it. It's not far away. It's on the tip of your tongue and the edge of your seat. You're going to be shifting into new realities and new timelines as we speak. So when you go through these ascension symptoms, nobody can tell you when it's going to happen for you, because we all shift and we all ascend at different times. It's true. But we also shift as oneness, as the collective. So you may be shifting somewhere different where somebody else is shifting somewhere different. It's all divinely orchestrated. This is the truth of the authenticity which beats inside of you on every layer, every cell, every frequency. And you are remembering the code to be. There is nothing greater than the power of love and what your perception is to be. Don't get distracted by the multiple layers that you see. Don't you remember me telling you you were going to see it all fall around you, but you were not going to be a part of it. You were going to be moved. You were going to be unscathed because the shifts are real and you came here to play. Not checkers, chess, the long endurance. If you made it this far, you didn't make it only this far to get this far. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. The only thing you're fearing is yourself. By the emotional work and by you putting yourself on the shelf. Because when you deny yourself the truth of what you are, you're denying your mother in nature by far. And we are no longer allowed to deny thy mother of what we are. I love you. Thank you so much for being here and trudging this road to happy destiny with me, for you, for us. Because it is the beginning of the 7th fire prophecy that we are stepping into. And this is the beauty. This is what you came here for. This is what you contracted to do. Embrace it. Allow it to ignite inside of you. Okay, so what? Some things sting and burn. It's just a place in which you come from, in which is dead to you. I want to show you something and tell you something that's true. As you revisit these things, you're going through your 360-degree panorama review of the old yous, just exactly like when you transcend on the other side. You're revisiting and seeing your divine accountability and the other parties, That's why you can feel everything so deeply, because the universe is just. You're going to know exactly how the other person felt standing in front of you every single time. You're going to see it through their eyes. You're going to feel it, and you're going to feel exactly what they're feeling as you stand before them. This is part of the transition that we call MAT, the review. But you get to go through it, remembering and knowing and seeing, all for exactly what it is. You're going through this beautiful new birth, the new you. You're looking at all the things that do not serve you. You're only seeing what's just and true, the divine essence of each and every part of you. That's beautiful. That's the beauty which is coming out in you. Thank you guys for allowing me to sit here and share this beautiful collective message with you this morning, and those transmissions, and me and my A-team. Thank you as always for being here. And they said, but a pipeline is only merely a dream. So it's almost as if like a lot of you have had dreams that you've just thrown into the pipeline, right? And they're telling me that a dream is only as far as you can think it through and see it through in this timeline of new. So a lot of people throw their dreams out there or send their love letters off to the Creator, telling them what they would like upon their divine favor. But how many of you follow up in nature and ask what it is that you can do for the divine to bring that through you, because it's one and the same in nature? So as you manifest on these beautiful days, make sure that you remember that it's not for you. It's for the Creator to work through you and to shine its light through you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. We're going to get started into these beautiful reads. That's interesting. I don't even know how that ended up over here. All right. Thank you, guys. I will go ahead and download this collective and put it up on YouTube later today. The elemental reads are up and available on the website, as well as the astrology blog, and as well as the spiritual bath is there. I made it very, very personable with intent this time. So even in the astrology blog, you're going to see sacred oils that can go in with each divine, like, zodiac sign, right? But the spiritual bath is something completely different. But if you would like to add those sacred oils that are attuned to your zodiac for this full moon and for this transition, the 22nd through the 24th, you can add those into the spiritual bath. But I wanted to make something more personable for each zodiac sign this time. And so I have